all say, good day to you this day of your time. How are you all? First of all, we would like to take this opportunity to thank each and every one of you for the co-creation of this interaction. Once again, each and every time you co-create this kind of transmission between our respective societies, it creates a bridge, it creates a link between our respective realities, and creates a new third reality in which we can, more and more every day in every way, interact with each other more strongly, more concretely, more physically. So we thank you for the opportunity to experience each and every one of you, and the gift you have given to us of being able to share in your society. Let us begin this transmission with the following idea that we have entitled Download. Now, we have recently communicated the idea of how ideas, concepts, information comes from the higher mind through the physical brain into the physical mind, and is thus then experienced in a physical way in your reality. Let us quickly reiterate, before we go on to new information, the idea that, once again, these three components, higher mind, physical brain, physical mind, personality construct, if you will, the idea being that higher mind is the conceiver, physical brain is the receiver, physical mind is the perceiver of the reality that results from the application of the information downloaded from the higher mind. Anything that is what you call an inspiration, an idea, a creation, a conception, it does not actually originate in the physical mind. It originates in the higher mind. That is then downloaded through the physical brain and is then, in a sense, set up in the physical brain in a neurological, neuroelectric way, neurochemical way, to create the physical mind that then has the perception, the experience, the feedback, the application of what you call physical reality, and thus then creates the entire experience, the entire event. But the idea, the question here, is that as you open up to receive information through the conduit of imagination, through the receiver of the brain, you can make yourself more sensitized to the idea of receiving information of higher frequency, more densely compacted, higher levels of information, higher insights, broader perspectives. And there are many ways in which this can be done. As we have said, there are many tools, many techniques. Each and every one of them is simply a permission slip that you give to yourself based on your belief system as to what will work for you, and allowing you to grant yourself permission to open up and receive information and apply it in more creative and constructive ways, more positive ways. So it's not that any one specific technique or tool or ritual works better than any other. It is simply what works best for you. Because whatever you are attracted to use as a permission slip is obviously keyed to your vibrational makeup. What you are attracted to, you are attracted to for a reason. The reason being that that frequency strikes a chord within you, and thus then will work best for you, even though it may not work that well for someone else. But the idea here is to really understand the mechanism that's going on in terms of how the information from a higher dimension, which the higher mind occupies, is actually translated down through the brain into the physical mind, into that artificial construct we have called the personality, that then does the perceiving, the experiencing. This is generally how it occurs. In your physical brain, there is a nodal point, a nodule, that you refer to as the pineal gland. This is, in many ways, accurately represented by your society, by those who have recognized that they euphemistically call it the seat of the soul. What this means is, it is the interface. It is the neurological, neurochemical interface that allows for the translation of higher vibrational information into the brain in such a manner that then physical mind has access to it and can use that information to create a physical experience. How does this work? I will tell you. Thank you. The idea is that your pineal gland creates certain neurochemical transmitters. Primarily among them are what you call dimethyltryptamine, serotonin, and melatonin. The idea is that dimethyltryptamine is the primary one. It is vibrationally keyed to receive higher frequency vibrations. When those higher frequency vibrations, in a sense, are, shall we say, directed at the brain by the higher mind, directed into the brain, the pineal gland regulates the quantity of dimethyltryptamine, what you have euphemistically called DMT in your society, which is naturally produced in the brain. And it regulates the amount of that dimethyltryptamine that is appropriate for the reception of that information and the amount that is appropriate for the focusing of the physical mind in physical reality. So let us be clear about what is happening here. The pineal gland regulates this molecule and its vibration to determine exactly how and to what degree you are or are not focused in physical or non-physical reality. It is the gatekeeper. It is the regulator. It is the tuning dial for how much you are focused in physical or how much you are focused in non-physical reality. So the first level of reception is that this substance, dimethyltryptamine, receives the vibration of the higher information. Then also, where and when necessary, translates that vibrational energy into other neurochemical transmitters such as serotonin, melatonin. And along with dimethyltryptamine, in a sense, dumps these neurotransmitters into your cerebrospinal fluid, into your bloodstream, into the cells of your brain, into the cells of your body, in such a manner as to then set up the template neurochemically and then neuroelectrically to represent the idea of that information in neurochemical, neuroelectric form. Once it has been translated by these neurotransmitting chemicals in a neuroelectric, neurochemical form, then the physical mind has access to that information. Thus, then the physical mind receives that experience as the experience of inspiration, imagination, thought patterns, so on and so forth. But also, it then takes that information and applies it in whatever way, shape, or form it has already applied such information before with respect to crystallizing or solidifying patterns of that information. These crystallizations, these solidifications of patterns of information that the physical mind has received before, that it has decided are appropriate or pertinent or relevant to it, are called belief systems and definitions. So, the idea of the crystallized belief systems thus then also will affect the efficacy of your ability to download that information. Because you will always pass that information after it has been translated from higher frequency energy into neurochemical, neuroelectric patterns. You will always pass that information through the crystallized belief systems within the artificial personality construct that have been set up, and those belief systems will then regulate to what degree you actually have the ability to access that higher frequency information, more or less, depending upon the nature of the belief that has been crystallized within the personality construct, within the physical mind. This is why it is so important to allow yourself clarity of belief system, clarity of how you define things in your physical reality experience. Because if you have certain kinds of belief systems that are constrictive, conditional in that sense, negative in that sense, mechanically speaking, they can limit your ability to actually perceive higher frequency energy being downloaded from your higher mind. And thus then they can make it seem as if you are incapable of receiving the guidance that is necessary for you to move through life in an effortless way, in a creative way, in a loving, joyful, exciting way. So the first stage always, because you are ensconced as physical personalities in physical reality experience, is to always get a handle on what your beliefs and definitions are about life, to make sure they are in alignment with what you prefer to believe and not contrary to it, that they are in alignment with your true natural vibration, which is really much closer to the higher frequency we're talking about, and thus then allow yourself to be capable of receiving that information in a much clearer and, shall we say, more original form. Now, the idea is that this can be enhanced in other ways as well, along with clarifying your belief systems to increase your sensitivity to higher frequency energy and thus receive those transmissions more in their natural form. Along with that, you can also, once again, do certain kinds of permission slip exercises that take advantage of the fact that you have this pineal interface in your brain. So, while working on your belief systems, not instead of, but in addition to working on your belief systems, you can also work directly with the pineal gland to allow it to produce the appropriate amount of dimethyltryptamine, serotonin, and melatonin that will be representative of the kind of neurochemical, neuroelectric transmission templates that are more clearly representative of the original transmission, so that the physical mind receives that without so much filtering. One way to do this is as you go to sleep, because the idea of DMT, melatonin, serotonin work very strongly in the nighttime hours, especially at what you call your 3 a.m. hour. You can, before you go to sleep, focus on the idea of your third eye, what you call the pineal gland, your third eye, metaphysically speaking, and allow yourself to focus on it. Allow yourself to feel the idea of that neurochemical being produced by that pineal gland, the regulator. Allow yourself to see that little nodule, or feel that little nodule, or hear that little nodule. However it works for you, relaxing and producing the appropriate amount of these neurochemical transmitters that will allow for more clarity in opening up those interdimensional windows, to allow you to perceive more purely the higher frequency energy that is being downloaded to you by your higher mind all the time. And thus then, by focusing on that and allowing it to produce the appropriate amount necessary for clarity and balance between the non-physical and physical realities that you are experiencing, you can bit by bit, either quickly or slowly, whatever is the appropriate rate for you, begin to feel more and more inspiration coming, more and more imagination working, more and more of your inner vision opening up with clarity, with brightness, with brilliance, with color. And you can begin to work more smoothly in conjunction, in a relationship with your higher mind. Now, remember, not only is the idea that your higher mind conceives, the brain receives, and the physical mind perceives, but in understanding that, once again, allow us to reinforce the side effects of that, the full understanding of what that means. Because we know in your society you have trained yourselves to think that you have to think your way through everything, that you have to be in control, that the physical mind must always control things in order to make them happen, we would like to once again remind you, in conjunction with what we are saying now, to reinforce this idea of the higher mind being the conceiver, not the physical mind. That it's not even just about letting the higher mind be the conceiver and not the physical mind. It is also understanding that the physical mind actually is not designed to be the conceiver. It cannot do that job. And that's why very often you find yourselves getting into so much trouble when the physical mind thinks it has to be the one running the show and making sure every single detail is exactly where they think it needs to be in order for something to happen. The physical mind is not designed, is not capable of doing that. So stop trying. It's tiring. It's exhausting. And the reason is, it's not designed to do that. The physical mind is designed not to know how something is going to happen. The physical mind is designed to know how something is happening, or how it has happened. It is not designed to know how something is going to happen. The higher mind is designed to know how something is going to happen. Look at the analogy of a mountaintop and a valley. Physical mind is in the valley, walking down the road. It can't see around the next bend. It cannot see over the next mountain chain. But the higher mind can. So when you allow the higher mind to be the guide and trust it and stop trying to do its job for it, let it do its job and let it transmit to you through the brain the guidance that it can deliver to you, then it will steer you along the proper path that will allow you to know that even though the physical mind can't necessarily see where it's going right away or know how it's going to get there, that it will get there because it has guidance from its own higher self. We have, again, likened this to the analogy of having a periscope going down into the water. But the higher mind is above the water and can see clear to the horizon, whereas the physical mind is down below the water where things are a little murky. And thus then you may not know that there is a chasm ahead. But the idea is that the higher mind understands the currents, can look down through the water and see where all the pitfalls lie, and can tell you, even though it may seem to the physical mind that it's taking a circuitous route, the higher mind is telling you that that's actually the best route, so you don't fall off the edge into the chasm. The physical mind may be impatient and think, oh no, I want to get there faster. I want to go this way. Whereas the higher mind is saying, but if you do, you actually will take longer to get where you want to go because I'm telling you that's not the best way for you. So the idea is to, first and foremost, as I said, relax the belief systems within the personality construct that make it seem as if the physical mind is the one that's supposed to be in charge, because it's not. The physical mind's job is to relax and enjoy the experience, enjoy the ride, and let the higher mind be the guide. And that's how it works. And you can make this more efficacious by getting in touch with your beliefs and clarifying them, by doing things that focus on allowing the mechanism within your brain itself to have a more clearly placed template so that you are translating that information more clearly, and to rely on and trust the higher mind's ability to know where you're going, how you're going to get there, and what is the best possible route for you. You have to work in concert with it. You have to work together with it in order to actually be a whole person. If you're just using your physical mind and your thought patterns in order to think you have to arrange your life to work, then really you're functioning as half a person. The idea is to be a whole person and use all levels of your consciousness in this experience, in this adventure that you call your lives in physical reality. And it will go much more smoothly, I guarantee it. Not because I said so, but simply because that's the way the universe is structured. That's how the mechanism works. All we're talking about here is physics. Take advantage of the nature of the structure of the physics of existence. That's all we're suggesting that you do to make your lives more joyful. Now again, those that may not be familiar with some of these concepts may ask how. Well, how do I know when I'm being guided by the higher mind? Very simple question with a very simple answer once again. The idea being that the vibration of your true natural self, the vibration of the higher mind self, is the vibration that your physical mind and your physical body often translates as excitement, joy, passion, love, creativity. So when circumstances come up in your life that contain the highest amount of those qualities, when the situations occur in your life that contain the highest amount of that feeling, that's the direction to act on. And we will be discussing tomorrow of your time more of the other side of this equation, taking action. Because you see, it is in a sense a two-part process. The idea of downloading is all well and good, but if you do not actually take action on the inspiration, if you don't actually take action and apply the imagination, the vision, the dream, then you are short-circuiting your manifestation. Because the idea is very similar to water or electricity. The energy must flow through you and be applied in your reality in order for the downloading to continue. If you're not applying the energy, applying the information, then it just sits within you and builds up and builds up and builds up and goes nowhere. And if it just sits within you, what's the point of receiving more information if you're not going to do anything with it? The universe is, above all, efficient and logical. Therefore, if you're just sitting and not applying, not acting on your dreams, not acting on that energy, not applying the information that is being downloaded, there really is no point in giving you more until you are ready for more. And you get ready for more by applying what you already have. Putting it to work, putting it into action, taking the steps necessary to show the higher mind that you have the conviction and the belief that you trust that what's being downloaded can be applied in your physical reality in a very pragmatic and practical way and can actually support you. And not just support you, but allow you to thrive, allow you to grow, allow you to expand your excitement, your joy, your creativity. Remember that it all comes as a complete kit. So you allow yourself the opportunity Allow yourself the opportunity to allow those three components of higher mind, brain, and physical mind to work together as conceiver, receiver, and perceiver. And do so in a balanced way. Then you will find more synchronicity in your life, more effortlessness, more joy, more creativity, and things just unfolding in what you call a very magical way, a very effortless way. So, remember this also about the idea of downloading. We hear often many of you asking, in a sense praying for, wishing for, asking for. Sometimes some of you will come to us or other beings or entities and say, "You have my permission to give me information." Well, yes, we know that. We are always, creation is always sending all that it can send. If you feel you are not receiving, it's not because it's not being sent. It's because you are interfering with the reception. So the idea is that if you want to receive more, become a better receiver. And you become a better receiver, a clearer receiver, by being willing to trust that that information is there to serve you, by clarifying your beliefs, by getting in touch with the idea of how those neurotransmitters are structured in your brain, and trusting the higher mind knows what it's doing as a guide. Among many other ways you may attract yourself to any other rituals or permission slips you believe will work for you to allow yourself to get out of your own way and to remove from the physical mind the onus of having to be the one in charge, to carry the weight of the universe on its shoulders, which it is not designed to do. So, if you want more enlightenment, lighten up on your physical mind. Let it do its job, which is to keep you focused in physical reality and have a physical reality experience, while at the same time enjoying the guidance of the higher mind that it can provide. Let the brain do its job and be a clear receiver. Again, this is also why it's important to allow yourself physical health. Keep your body clear of toxins, so on and so forth. So that again, it is physically the best receiver it can be. Then, when you are aligned in that way, when you clear your beliefs as best you can, when you clear your body as best you can, when you clear your brain as best you can, when you act upon your joy as best you can, you will find that these things will work for you. And you will begin to really know in a very tangible way that you are truly, truly becoming more aware of the relationship you have with higher mind. You will truly begin to build that relationship in a conscious way. And you will see it work in your physical reality experience. Guaranteed by creation, not by me, by creation. Do you all understand this? Yes. It's just physics. If you feel you don't completely get it yet, that's all right. You'll get it where you need to. Because each and every one of you will attract yourself to whatever information works best for you. This we have no doubt of. But it doesn't matter that we do not doubt. It only matters for you that you do. Do not doubt yourselves. You work perfectly. You are made, as you say, in the image of creation. You already know what you're doing if you would allow yourself to believe that you do. And just relax the definitions, the expectations, the conditions that you place upon yourselves that do not allow you to really feel the true vibration of joy, creativity, expansion, love, excitement, passion that could be your daily bread. So, it's up to you. Don't do it because we suggest it. It's up to you. We have our own lives to live. Thank you very much. We are not interested in living yours. But we can let you know what has worked for us, and we know it will work for you if you allow it to. But that is completely up to you. So, once again, we extend to each and every one of you our deepest appreciation for the co-creation of this transmission in this way. And we would like to now open this up in whatever format you desire to questions, answers, dialogue, as you wish.